It feels like just yesterday we launched our initial sponsorship program on Techlore, but it was actually way back in November 2021. Coming up on 2 years later, I'm excited to announce our brand new sponsorship program to keep Techlore expanding to the world. You might be asking, why sponsors, Henry? Well, I have been fairly vocal regarding my criticisms of crowdfunding, things like Patreon, not because I don't think it's a fantastic model that's about as pure and intimate as it gets, and one that we actually need, but because not enough people partake in it. We receive hundreds of thousands of views a month on YouTube with over 200,000 subscribers, and yet we currently have under 200 people on Patreon. And there isn't a lack of exposure. These patrons are showcased in our descriptions, at the end of nearly every video, in pinned comments, and in other areas like our website's homepage. I don't think there's any more convincing that can be done, nor should I need to. You all have every right to decide where you spend your money. And to our current patrons, I'm forever grateful for the amount of support you give us. You actively enable us to independently do what we do. Even with sponsors, it's your independent support that allows us to say no to sponsors literally every day. A little Wikipedia fact, I'm making fun of Wikipedia's things that they do, but if just 1% of all our YouTube viewers last month contributed just $1 to Techlore, 1% of everyone just donated $1, we would have made 5 times the amount of money we currently make on Patreon. Just to give you guys some perspective. So while crowdfunding is massively important, I don't think it can be a significant revenue source, and this seems to be a common theme with other creators as well. This isn't just an issue with us here at Techlore. Money is important, not just because we're real people who pay for rent and groceries and need to live somehow, but because Techlore is something I want to continue to expand. To do this, we need money for production equipment, devices to keep up with demanding workflows, devices to perform reviews, hosting for all our various projects, and the numerous other expenses incurred on a monthly basis. Sponsors can directly, right now, and will continue to push us to new limits, allowing us to spread privacy and security to audiences never seen before, all alongside our patrons. Now you might be asking, well, you already had a sponsorship program, so what changed, what went wrong? And yeah, all good questions. So some of you may have noticed earlier this year, we actually ceased video sponsor segments. You might have not seen one of those 1-minute segments in a long time. This came down to a few issues. First, producing dedicated sponsor segments added time to our production workflow, especially since multiple production steps required coordinating with each individual sponsor. We had to delay numerous videos just in the name of making sure the sponsor segment was done properly and to everyone's standards, which includes our own standards, our audience's standards, you guys, and our sponsors' standards. So it did make our content harder to produce. Second, we universally fell behind on many things. Sponsors aside, we were already struggling with too much work and not enough time to do it. I felt it was more important to prioritize getting caught up, which required pausing our sponsorship program until we were back on our feet. Third, I personally felt our sponsor format of 1-minute video segments made our content feel less genuine. And this really hit me when I watched a Linus Tech Tips video for the first time in like years, and I was like, wow, this is like just heavily commercialized and it feels really non-genuine.
Build Redux!
Taking what I learned from that whole previous program, I'm thrilled to announce our new sponsorship program is here. Our new program is very exciting as it's more diverse, versatile, and simpler for everyone involved. Previously, we only offered those 1-minute sponsored video segments. We're dropping those. I didn't like them, I don't think I want to keep doing them, and instead we're offering multiple sponsorship offerings for our videos, which are now featured in the outro through video and or audio. We're also adding sponsors to our SPA quiz, Security, Privacy, and Anonymity quiz, which is on our website. You'll be featured before the quiz and after finishing. There's also an option to have product placements within our videos. Now, this one we need to be careful with because we feature services and things organically within our videos. Like for example, we featured Crypty in our lockdown video. So I had to think of how to do this in a way where all of you would know if something was product placement, and I just had to make the flat out rule that no tech companies were allowed for product placements only. There's also the very rare, we've only ever done one of these, dedicated sponsored video showcases. So we did this cake pay video not too long ago, and the reason why I took this one was because I felt that it was actually something that I could do in a way that was honest, that was new, that was fresh, and it was something that was actually valuable to our audience. I was showcasing a service that I think a lot of people didn't even know existed that allowed them to buy things out in public privately without any personal information, really. So it was a very unique offering, and if we ever stumble on those again, then I'm not against it, but I think this one's going to stay pretty rare. We get offers almost every day from companies to sponsor things, and as of today, we've only accepted 4 companies for sponsors, so this is actually pretty rare, and this one's even more rare. So these new sponsor options vary in medium, in audience, commitment, price point, and creativity. We have a whole sponsor guide for people interested in applying for those sponsorships. And as always, all sponsors have to respect our strict protocols, which you can also all view down below and help hold us to it. Speaking of, I also developed review unit protocols, as some people rightfully brought up some concerns about how a review unit could be a possible influence or conflict of interest for a review that we perform. I will say, while a review unit has yet to influence our content, I wanted to at least put in protocols to keep it that way and let you all have something to hold us to as well. All right, now that that's all out of the way, you might be asking, what does this mean for me? And well, it doesn't seem like it really impacts you, but it does. If you're a viewer, rest assured our content and resources will remain independent. Our protocols are thorough and no sponsor is ever worth our reputation, and this is why our patrons exist, so that we have enough to get by so we don't have to depend on sponsors. If you're developing services, rest assured we are still no more likely to recommend you over anyone else because of a sponsorship. Our resources have their own dedicated criteria ensuring we remain independent. Most importantly, what this means for everyone is you're going to see more Techlore content, better quality Techlore content, better performing Techlore content, and finally, more projects and initiatives we've never been able to start or finish due to time and or financial limitations. We work on a ton of things back here, and so having the finances and freedom to be able to pursue them independently is massively important in finishing those up. Now, I did want to say some thank yous because we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for some very special people. I wanted to thank all of our original sponsors, Cake Wallet, Local Monero, Privacy.com, and Abind Delete Me, who all believed in our mission and gave us a shot in showcasing their brands. We wouldn't have gotten this far without them, nor would we have been able to put together these new protocols without them. I want to thank everyone who I talked to behind the scenes for advice forming these new protocols. You all know who you are. You all massively helped me put this together, so thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you, our viewers, who welcomed our introduction to sponsors in 2021 with open but still wary arms. You all stayed skeptical, but still gave us a shot to prove to you that we could do sponsorships in an ethical way that wouldn't compromise on our quality and reputation. So if you didn't give us that shot, we would have never had the confidence to actually go forward with accepting sponsors. I also especially, probably the biggest thank you I have to give is to our patrons and our direct financial supporters who allow us to have such strict protocols in place. It's you all who allow us to not be completely dependent on sponsors, so we can still have the freedom to tell sponsors no and turn them away every day if they're unable to respect our protocols, which is what we do. And that's kind of it. If you're interested in sponsoring our content, check out our sponsorship guide down below. If you're someone who likes what we do and wants to contribute what we do, we still need your support over on Patreon and other places. We still value that because we never want to be completely dependent on sponsors. If you have any feedback or anything you want to share or any questions, leave it down below. I also have a blog post covering all this, and there's also a announcement made on our forum as well. So there's lots of different places where you can go ahead and see more information. Everything has been designed so that you can verify what we do and you don't have to put blind faith in us. So that's the goal here. I hope you guys have a great day and we'll see you next time on Techlore. I'm excited to see where this goes. Woohoo!